A few final thoughts on Wisconsin's football season. One, it was great to get a win last night in the Guaranteed Rate Bowl, mostly because a loss just would have been devastating. Uh, so even if this wasn't the biggest win in the world, it wasn't a loss. So that means Wisconsin is a winning season. Fickle starts off on a right foot. We send Leonard out on a high note, um, and we just sort of turn the page on a positive note. Had we lost last night, that just really would have left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. So great to get that win. As far as performance last night, it was obviously mixed. At times, team looked great. At times, team looked like the team that went 6-6 that we've seen all season. Chase Wolf, I think, exceeded expectations for most. At times, he looked really quite good. Made some really impressive throws, especially under pressure. Obviously, made one big mistake with the interception, which I think was just a misread. I just don't think he saw the guy. But other than that one play, Chase looked fine. I mean, he looked good. Obviously, his receivers could have helped him out a little bit more. Probably would have had two more touchdowns if receivers didn't drop the ball. We had two big drops that would have been touchdowns. And then, of course, on defense, we had Torchio one drop, right? That would have been a pick six. That would have been fun. But uh, Chase looked fine. He's coming back next year, which I think is great. Just for just because he seems like the guy seems like a team player. He's probably good for the locker room. He's been around the program. Can be a little bit of a culture carrier. So glad to see Chase is coming back. As far as other sort of players that stood out, obviously Braylon Allen had a great game. The real Braylon's coming back. I think Braylon's going to have a breakout year next year. I think if Phil Longo's offense, Braylon is going to just. I think he's just going to break out year. I think he's going to be a Heisman contender. Doak Walker, right front runner. I think we'll see him running out of the shotgun next year, and he won't be running an 8-man box. Obviously, we've talked about it on before. Phil Longo's offense, whole philosophy is go for the jugular, and so he's going to keep those linebackers on their heels, and those cornerbacks and safeties are going to be busy guarding receivers downfield. As far as Braylon, I think there's one thing between this year and next year. He still needs to get fast. I mean, he needs to get faster, right? I think he needs to slim down a little bit and get faster, so we can see sort of that explosive breakaway speed that we used to see from JT, right? I mean, JT, the second he, got to the second level, he was gone. We don't really see it with Braylon, right? Braylon can be chased down. Braylon hasn't won a ton of foot races this year, so I would love to see Braylon just slim down a little bit. I mean, obviously his size is advantageous at times, but I think a better version of Braylon Allen is a Braylon Allen that's, I don't know, 15. I mean, 15 pounds lighter. I was gonna say 20, but I think 15 is probably about right. 15 pounds lighter, just a little more explosive. So just we can see that big playability. As far as receivers, obviously we talked about the drops. One positive note, I did say I will say that receivers last night were able to get separation from defenders, and we have not seen that all year. We've seen, especially in obvious passing downs, we've seen a lot of obvious passing. Whenever it's obvious passing down happened earlier this year, it seems like receivers were covered up. Mertz couldn't find a guy, and it was either a poor throw or threw it away or sack, interception, or something. It's just very rarely did it seem like something went right, but last night, even in obvious passing downs, it does seem like receivers were getting a little bit of separation. That said, we need to be a little bit deeper at receiver. The guys on the field last night, I don't know how well they're going to run Phil Longo's offense. We at the moment, and I'm not talking about the new class coming in. I'm just saying at the moment, the players on the field last night, obviously, those guys we're not recruited to run an air raid offense. But yeah, at the moment, we don't have personnel for air raid offense. With some of the guys coming in, obviously with Nick Evers coming in, we're one step closer to running air raid offense. And obviously, this isn't a problem in a couple of years because Fickell and Phil will obviously recruit guys that fit their system. But it could be bumpy couple of years. So I think fans need to have patience. If Fickell doesn't come out and win the Big Ten next year, or even if he doesn't win the Big Ten West next year, I don't think there needs to be any cause for panic or any calls for Fickell was the wrong choice or any of that. So there's going to be some growing pains. I mean, it's a new system. I mean, it's going to be a new system on offense and a new system on defense, right? We're going air raid offense or some sort of modified air raid offense with strong running game. I know Fickell has mentioned that he wants to keep Wisconsin as sort of an elite running back, like RBU. Like Fickell wants to keep this Wisconsin's strengths in place. So I think he's going to continue to attract and recruit high-end running backs, and Wisconsin's going to continue to run the ball. We're just going to be doing it out of a different system and probably out of the shotgun much more than we currently do it. So I don't know how often we'll see this team under center, but yeah. And then, of course, the defense, we talked about last night first. Defense looked great at times. Obviously, rushing defense was fantastic. I think we held them to 50 yards and change on rushing. I mean, rushing defense was fantastic. Secondary looked good. Obviously, we lost some 50-50 balls, which wasn't great. I will admit, I was pretty nervous in the second half there. Defense was certainly, especially the secondary, we were on our heels a little bit there, and I didn't feel much momentum whatsoever in that fourth quarter. Obviously, the interceptions helped, but for a while there, we were a little bit picked apart. So defense played well last night. We're gonna go. I think we're going to a 3-3-5 with Mike Tressel. So I think our secondary is going to improve. Our pass coverage will improve next year, and hopefully with 3-3-5, we're able to continue to stop the run like we are now. But yeah, overall, yeah, defense. I think they played a good game last night. Yeah, I would say they played a good game. I am going to miss Jim Leonhard. Obviously, Jim Leonhard gave Wisconsin some of the best defenses in the history of Wisconsin. It's obvious. I think that Leonhard was unhappy and shocked with Mac's decision. It didn't seem like Leonhard really wanted to be in the spotlight at all last night, even when Fickell called him on stage at the trophy presentation. Leonhard was sort of up there and out of there as quickly as possible. I don't know how much of that is just Leonhard not wanting to be in the spotlight, or how much of that is him just trying to sort of move on and just get this over with and just sort of move on to the next chapter. I mean, I really feel for the guy. Obviously loves his university. And I hope in some capacity Wisconsin and Jim Leonhard cross paths again. I don't know what sort of capacity that's going to be in. But hopefully, I don't know. Hopefully Jim Leonhard has got a fulfilling career ahead of him, and I just love the guy. So represents the best Wisconsin, and I think all Wisconsin fans are really going to miss him. That said, after last night, I just could not be more excited to start the next chapter. So Fickell, I think, is sort of through the sort of awkward period, and now things are going to get underway. We should have a staff. All the staff announcements, I assume, are coming in the next couple days. Obviously, recruiting made a lot of progress there. Wouldn't be at all surprised to pick up a few others by February. And yeah, and then obviously Phil's coming. We're gonna have a Phil Long offense, Mike Tressel defense next year, and I think that's it. So until next time, on Wisconsin.